Satanic Phenomenology is the latest full-length album from HAIL Conjurer. This is a Helsinki, Finland-based one-man band from a fellow he's the lead singer of Hooded Menace right now, and this is a black metal band, and one that it's got a very unique way of putting things together. Think of something like the do-it-yourself ethos of early Bathory, where he's doing everything himself, but there's a set limit amount of time to prepare for this record, or there's a theme for it that is emergent. And I believe he's even said that a lot of this is either improvised or put together hastily on purpose to capture an authentic feeling without overthinking it. And this has resulted in a lot of really interesting over-the-top and experimental records in the past. I would say this is one of them, but he's sort of reined in his sound a little bit in some ways by focusing on a different muse. And this time around, it's something closer to again, black doom metal that's not outrageous for the acts that he's taken part in over the years, such as Ride for Revenge. And there is sort of a tendency towards traditional heavy metal and doom metal in a lot of these shapes that he's creating here with the guitars and the riffs otherwise. But this record is split into kind of three different modes and parts, and we'll sort of talk about that after we catch up here with the clip and just see how the record sounds compared to the last few. So there are kind of three different modes that happen here on this record. There are the sort of harsh noise experiments and recordings which are experimental in nature, not so abrasive this time, but still they push us through. There's one after each of the first 4 or so tracks, and each of those 4 tracks in between are maybe a 3 or 4 minute black metal song, which might be more black doom metal in nature, or there's a couple that sound a little bit like Varathron. If you're a fan of Barathrum, I think those are 2 pretty good points to get into contact with what the raw and semi-melodic nature of this record is all about. And otherwise, I think there's 1 or 2 songs here that take it a little bit further in terms of doom. There's a song that I'd liken to the more harsh side of earlier Faustcoven, and I'm a big fan of that. Otherwise, there's almost a kind of a psychedelic doom metal feeling to some of these songs, and so the third side of it is maybe the longer form song at the end. The 2 songs at the end that close the album, they do a little bit more with the keyboards. There's kind of an epic stride to some of it. It's a really intense finale, and I really liked that last song on the album. I think it's about 9 minutes, and it really makes the album to the point where it inspired me to go back and listen closer, where you got a sense of the intent that the entire album was building up to. It really felt like it was the last song he wrote after he learned everything from putting all those pieces together. And overall, I was just impressed by that. I'd still give it a moderately high recommendation. I think this is, because I'm recommending to the general public, this is not going to be for everyone. It's quite raw and rugged still. It's a very personal form of black metal that is just tailored to his interests and the experiments of this record. And I think it's not meant for everyone's consumption. For me, I think the strongest interest here is the immersion that the record allows for, and then my own connection. And I think the themes of the record are pretty interesting otherwise. So the rest is yours to figure out. You can listen to the album now because it's out. And while you check out a couple of songs, go ahead and read my review here and get more details from me.
Yeah.